Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a first impressions video on The Witch's Life in Mongol, Volume 1 from Tomato Soup. This is being released by Yen Press, and I'm super excited to finally talk about this release. It has definitely been one of the most hyped up releases of the year. But before we do that, I have to remind you, if you would be so kind, hit the like button, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. You can also become a member. That helps out a ton as well. But if you want to take the conversation further, you can join my Discord server. The link is in the description below. So with all of that out of the way, let's get started with this video. We're here to talk about A Witch's Life in Mongol. This is a historical epic josei written by Tomato Soup, which I think is one of the coolest pen names if you ask me, and this one started publication back in 2021. It is a story set in the 13th century, and it follows the character of Sitara, a young Muslim slave girl from Tus. Now, let me start by saying that I will probably get a lot of the terminology and names wrong, so I do apologize. This took a while to record simply because there was so much to absorb with a story like this. I like that the author goes for as authentic as possible with the accuracy of its history and the terminology and the characters and what they're doing. So it really felt like you're opening a window into another time and place, but it all feels so familiar. There are themes here that run throughout the book, this first volume, that are pretty universal. So we follow the character of Sitara, like I mentioned, and due to some circumstances that happen later on, she will get the name of Fatima. I'm not going to reveal how and when and why, but at the start of this book, she is sold into a scholar's household where she slowly starts to get educated in different things such as science, math, astronomy, geography, etc. One of the main things that happen in this first volume, well actually two, the main thing is that this is a time period of conquest for the Mongolian Empire with Genghis Khan and his sons, which are sort of the captains or lieutenants of the army, and the town of Tus gets attacked by the Mongolian Empire. So a lot of the people that Sitara knows, as she's now sold into this household, they either unfortunately die or get captured to become slaves themselves along with Sitara. The important thing here is that our main protagonist, she is a bright, beautiful character that wants to learn as many things as possible, has that curiosity for knowledge, and realizes very early on the saying that knowledge truly is power. So she's going to use that to her advantage to learn about the enemy and how she can conquer it from within using her wits, not necessarily strength or brawn or any of that. So this is a story very much of revenge, not your typical revenge story, mind you, but still revenge nonetheless. At the start of this book, we see her disdain for slave ship. And by the way, this is very different than the transatlantic slavery that we're used to knowing from the history books. Slaves in the Islamic world were highly educated, could become court officials, military commanders, even poets and scholars as well, and they were often converted to Islam, which improved their social status. That slavery was not strictly based on race. You could have multiple people from different countries, different ethnic groups assembled in one area, and the main thing is that in the case of the Mongols, they absorbed individuals that could provide a benefit for their people and their country and make it a better place. In other words, a meritocracy. If you were useful, you could climb up the social ladder and become something of yourself. Now, this is a male-dominated empire, and it's going to be very interesting to see Fatima's rise in this society and how she's going to use the knowledge that she's acquiring. When she was a slave in Tus, she was upset, didn't want this life for her, refused to be a slave, but sort of went with it because unfortunately, you know, that is the system. And it's not until she is sold into a family that is very much wholesome and willing to help Fatima grow as a person by teaching her things in this household. There's Uncle, which I believe in the back of the book, it is stated that this was a made-up character. He is the teacher of the young master Muhammad, who is this precocious and thoughtful boy that becomes a pivotal figure in Sitara, or Fatima's, early life. He is essentially the one that opens up the idea for our main protagonist to expand her knowledge and become a wiser person, because even in the worst of times, she'll know what to do with the information that she is acquiring and learning. Though we don't see the character again because he leaves, he becomes sort of a pen pal to our protagonist by exchanging letters and keeping her motivated in her studies. Now, obviously this is just volume 1. I don't really know what happens from here on out, but I am interested to see how the story continues and shapes up for the main character. One of the pivotal moments is the invasion of the Mongols as they sweep through Tus, and a lot of characters end up dying as a result. Fatima is taken hostage and is now set to become a part of the Mongolian Empire. And it's one of Genghis Khan's son, or prince, that arrives and ransacks the place, specifically looking for a book that happens to be at Fatima's residence. He's able to take it from her, and that is the catalyst for a lot of the revenge for the main protagonist. This book belonged to the original owners of the house, which I'm leaving certain details here and there because I want you to read it. But essentially, she wants to reacquire this book, and as a result, that leads her to Toregene, which I hope I'm pronouncing right. I probably am not. Ogedei Khan's sixth wife. Ogedei being the son of Genghis Khan. So now she is going to work for her as her scholar and slave, and the adventures will continue from there. So it's an amazing representation of Muslim culture, history, real life events. You can read up on Fatima in real life and learn more about all that stuff, as well as the history of the Mongol Empire. So this really is a historical epic that, if you're into all of this, you can't afford to miss. Now, this is sharply contrasted by the amazingly quirky and cool art style. Tomato Soup, instead of going for a realistic tone, opts for a cartoonish style that sort of blends chibi with Persian-inspired line work and tone shading. It creates something that is very visually appealing. It becomes rather shocking when you see the level of violence that occurs in this book with the way these characters are expressing themselves. It's quite the unique book, if you ask me. So yeah, I cannot recommend it enough. It's a fantastic first volume. Really looking forward to continuing Fatima's journey with volume 2. And I hope I did this justice. I was a little bit scared at first, or intimidated, because of the many plot points and characters and the different culture that not everybody out here in the West is necessarily exposed to on a daily basis. But that is the beauty of comics and manga, where you can transport yourself to different places and meet different people and explore different ideologies and cultures and all this stuff, and it broadens your horizon. So if this book can do that for people and give you a different perspective of the world out there outside of your four corners, that is a win-win in my honest opinion. So for that alone, this is easily one of my most recommended books this year. I do think you owe it to yourself to check out at least volume 1 here. Alright, there it is, my first impressions on The Witch's Life in Mongol. But what about you guys? What did you think of this manga if you've read it? And if you haven't, what are some historical epics do you think I should check out? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you once again. Remember to join my Discord. The link is down in the description. That is going to be it for now. God bless, stay safe out there. I will catch all of you on the next one.